This video is designed to help you with this particular assignment where we're using fourths and fifths to construct bass lines, fourths, fifths, and octaves. And we are also doing some voice leading. Okay, so the instructions say use the simple entry tool in Finale. If you're not familiar with that, you should watch the Finale primer video that I will have posted on our class website. But essentially you need the simple entry palette, which looks like this, and all of these things are available under the window menu. Main tool palette, simple entry palette, where you can go and reach for a note value. If you've watched the video, you'll know how to do shortcuts and do all this a lot faster. So let's zoom in, and we see that we have a bass line. Well, first of all, we have drums, okay, and to copy the drums, you have to just make sure that the settings under the edit, that if you have the filter chosen, click on edit filter, and you just choose to only copy notes. That's all we want. So we can say none and choose just the notes like that. And then we can go to the selection tool, which looks like this little arrow, which the shortcut for which is to hit escape. Just select it and Command C to copy and Command V to paste, and then you can just copy right along. Our bass line is choosing to emphasize these two notes the same as the kick, and we're putting a different bass note on 4. That's so a little bit of rhythmic coordination here, and then we're deviating from the kick drum here. What it sounds like. Now you can see that, and by the way, with playback, I'm doing is a playback shortcut I show in the primer video, but basically it's when you have the playback controls off, then you can, and if you're in the selection tool, you can just highlight a measure and do spacebar click, or you can also go at the speed of your cursor by doing Option plus spacebar. If you want to just check one little part of a measure or something, but spacebar click from a selected measure will give you a playback from that measure. You can also play back with the playback controls here, but they're a little bit more awkward to handle. They're okay, but it's a little bit more complicated. If you want to learn how to use them, you can watch that video, the primer video. Okay, back to this. You can see that our bass line is following a pattern, which is that we're starting on a bass note, a root, we're going to the octave root, and then we're going down a fourth to the fifth of the chord, right? So we're sort of getting to the fifth, but by first going through the octave. So we're going to keep doing that. But what we have to keep in mind is that our range of the bass, the lowest possible note, is E. And so you can't go below that. So for example, if I copy, remember we set up that filter which was under the edit menu, and we looked at it, and all we're copying is notes. Okay, that's important. So I can take this bass line and I can copy it over to here, and then I can use the following shortcuts to move the notes up and down. The number 6 moves notes down by step, and you can see by doing that I went down to a D there, and that's too low. It's also the wrong note for this chord, but that's too low. We can't go that low. But the number 7 moves everything up by step, and so I can just simply move this bass line up to an A. Okay, and now everything has moved. I've got my root, I've got my octave, I've got my fifth, and I'm cool. Now if I copy it again and I try to move it down to a D, look what happens. 6, and I go too low. That's too low for the bass. So I'm going to do 7, step up to the D, okay? Anyway, this is the way you proceed on, and you get your bass line in there by copying and pasting and then moving it to the correct pitch level. Remember, the number 6 moves notes down by step, number 7 moves notes up by step, and this is all while you're in the selection tool. Okay, that's how you're going to complete your bass line. You're going to complete your voice leading. You know how to do voice leading. If you don't, you can rewatch the videos about that and reread it in the text, but I believe you all do know how to do that. And by copying notes, one of the simplest ways to do it is copy over a note, double click on the note that doesn't fit. You have to position it just right, Command arrow to go up through the chord, Command arrow to go down through the chord, up arrow, down arrow. When you get the note, I like that note, but it's not, doesn't fit with the chord, right? It's a G. So now I need to move it to an A. So once I can do Command arrow down to this note, which is not a note in the key, in the chord of A, move it up to becoming a C, and I just did my voice leading. I could also Command arrow up through it and get to a note. Here, if I felt like I'd rather have that go down an octave, once I'm on it, I can do Shift arrow down. So those are the main navigation things you need to know to do the voice leading. Okay, that's the first page. When you get over to the second page, you have a different bass line. So what you have to do is analyze what's happening. Root, root, fifth, octave, root. And take those same ideas and move them to all the other chords. Copy, paste. This needs to be a B. I do number 7 until it becomes a B. And now I have a root, root, fifth, root, low root on B minor. Then you do your voice leading here. That's the way you're going to start your voice leading there. And then you just complete the whole assignment, copy and paste the drums. And that's the completed assignment. Follow the instructions posted on our site as to how to hand this in. Sometimes I ask you to bring it to class on your computer. Sometimes I ask you to upload it. Okay,